Okay, so this video will be about a topic that I think a lot of us might appreciate because we are bothered by the fact that most people, and this is just the word that I use, but I think a lot of people, most people in this world are asleep. I call them sleepwalkers, sleepers, other people who are awake. They call these people normies, NPCs, a sheeple, whatever. The main thing is that, of course, they are asleep to a lot of the truths of this world that are obvious to us, right? And because we know the things that we know, we cannot relate to the sleepwalkers, and we feel maybe as outsiders. And some people, they like to refer to themselves as, the chosen ones, right? I do not call myself that. I'm just awake, I'm a realist, and I support the truth, right? This whole chosen one business, I do not agree with it. It has pretty negative connotations, right? But anyway, we're here to talk about the sleepers, the people who are asleep, the people who do not see anything wrong with this world, the people who go about their day without a care in the world, who just think that life is all about getting that money, buying the things, the materialistic things, having fun. They have this philosophy, some of them, that, life is a video game and that you should max out your stats. Of course, this is absolutely false. We who are awake, of course, understand, because of the evidence that is obvious, that this life, whatever it is some sort of prison. It is some sort of matrix simulation, jail to suck our energy. That's basically it, right? We don't really exactly know what it is, but I use this term to describe it. In my view, reality isn't real because of certain things that have happened over the years, which in a real society, in a real world with real people, some of these events, recent and older, they shouldn't have happened, but they have happened. And these events have proven to me that reality isn't real, that we're living in some sort of, I don't know what it is. I don't know what all of this is. Holographic, whatever. We are inhabiting avatars. Apparently we are spiritual beings. I don't know. All I know is that this is some sort of prison, and we are used as livestock here, right? And the sleepers, the people who are asleep, they do not notice this. They have never thought about this. They have never considered that they might be somebody's plaything, that they might be marionettes on strings, but of course they cannot see their strings, right? We who are awake, we at least can see the strings, right? And we can see, some of these signs which suggest that something's going on here, right? Something is going on here. But most people, they never think about this. They think that everything is fucking all right. They think that there's nothing better to do in life, than go to a lame job for minimum wage and engage in the usual activities of a biped, traveling, going to cafes, whatever, watching memes 24/7. This is the behavior of a sleeper, of a normie, of an NPC, right? And of course, all of us have been, at some point, we've all been there. We have all been NPCs, normies, sleepers. But we somehow have awakened to the truth of this suspicious life. Right? Something in us has helped us to snap out of the trance, out of the hypnosis, right? Because we all know that this life and whoever or whatever is manipulating everything behind the scenes, they want people to be mindless consumers, mindless obedient workers who never question anything, right? The powers that be, the real powers, right? Not the politicians and all these clowns. We're talking about the real shadows behind the scenes, behind closed doors. They want people to be unquestioning, subservient, zombies who believe anything they're told, who trust the words from official sources, right? And we've all been there when we were younger, but we had an instinct, an intuition, a divine spark, if you want to call it that, and through our research, we have arrived at the conclusion that reality is not real, that there's something here, pure evil, that's trying to turn us into these benumbed, veggies who do nothing but engage in the most mediocre and banal activities, right? This is what the world really is. The world is a sort of farm, and most people are livestock. The way that they behave is exactly as livestock. They go about their business in indifference and in ignorance because there is enough food, there are enough resources, and they have their favorite distractions and diversions, right? Because there is sufficient comfort, that is why most people choose to deny the truth. They reject any sort of investigation. They refuse to analyze, and so forth. And listen. I know a couple of people, and I follow them for research purposes. And I know that these people are smart, okay? Some people are smart because they drop certain keywords which tell me that they've done some sort of research. They know some of the darker aspects of this world, but they have chosen to sweep it under the rug because, this sort of information, this sort of truth, it might ruin you. You might have sleepless nights, it might be too dark and too sinister for you to handle. And this is what I believe, that most people who are smart, they suspect something. They know certain things, as we know, but they choose to move about their day and move about their life as if all of this is just some sort of silly conspiracy theory, and because, of course, it scares them, right? It scares them. Once you accept the truth, You can never go back. You can never go back to living your simple-minded, normie, livestock kind of life. Okay, you cannot, if you have a conscience, if you have a soul, once you accept the truth of this horrible, terrible reality, you cannot just go back to the way things were. It's impossible. This is my speculation, but I think a lot of people who are smart enough suspect that something's going on, but they choose to go back to sleep. They choose to be sleepers, sleepwalkers, because of course, there's so many fun distractions out here, right? I mean, I know these people, they're smart, but all they talk about is movies, cartoons, video games, entertainment in general, the most subpar, lackluster kind of thing. This is what they engage in, and memes, and all this stupid shit, right? Because it's more easy, right? It doesn't haunt you. It doesn't haunt your, sleepless nights, right? Some of us, because of the truth, we've had some serious insomnia, right? So this is what happens. But of course, we have to accept the fact that most people, most normies, most NPCs, they are asleep. They will always be asleep. And I will suggest that it's far too late for them. They cannot be awoken. They do not want to be awake. They want to be asleep, and they want to live their false dream. They want to live in this. They want to be immersed. They want to be immersed in falsity. They want to be immersed in phoniness and fakery and deception and deceit, because at least you have some fun, right? Once you know the truth, of what goes on behind closed doors in this world, you can never just go back and behave as if nothing's going on, right? You cannot pretend, right? This is what I'm trying to get at. You cannot pretend that evil isn't here. And I don't understand how most people, even though they know that there is an evil here of a magnitude they can't even imagine, they pretend and they behave like, nothing's wrong, right? And their silly occupations and their goofy hobbies, will never cure what's really going on here. Okay? A lot of people in the truth community who do research, let's call it people who are awake, most people, because they're kind-hearted, they're still trying to wake as many people as possible. And good on them, but I have to tell you folks, it's far too late now. It is far too late. It is for naught. It is useless, pointless, meaningless. Those who have snapped out of their sleep, they have snapped out of their sleep. All of these people who are asleep, they cannot be awakened. They do not want to be awakened. It's far too late. Okay, you gotta abandon them. They are a lost cause. I'm sorry. I know it might sound cruel, merciless, but it is what it is. We're almost in 2023. If you still think that some of the horrors that happen here are just silly conspiracy theories, even though they are backed by irrefutable evidence and proof, there's no hope for you. There's absolutely no hope for you, right? I choose to be awake. Okay, I do not want to go back to the way things were when I believed all of the nonsense, that most people believe. Most people, they believe and trust everything they read, everything they see, everything they hear, and most importantly, they cannot imagine. They cannot conceive of the fact that people in power, people in official offices, people in, high institutions, etc., political gatherings, whatever. Most normies cannot even imagine that these people might be against their interests. They cannot imagine that these people that they have voted for, that they might do certain things behind closed doors that are inhumane. Okay? I don't understand why so many fucking sleepers, why these normies trust institutions and people in power. I just don't get it. Right? I just don't get it. They're so asleep that they don't even have, an instinct, a basic instinct to suspect that some of these criminals, right, in politics and in religions and so forth, they don't have the mental capacity or the spiritual insight to suspect that maybe evil is in these institutions. And they cannot, for the love of them, suspect that these evil fucking monsters are working tirelessly to destroy mankind, to subjugate people, to enslave people, to turn them into animals that can be controlled and can be manipulated. Most NPCs, sleepwalkers, they're so anesthetized in the mind. They're so benumbed. Whatever word you want to use. They have been thoroughly indoctrinated, inculcated by the dogmas, by the propaganda, okay? They cannot imagine that everything they believe in is here against their interests. They cannot think that all the things that they trust and cherish and want to protect, that these organizations are working against their interests and they want to enslave people to be these mindless workers and consumers. Okay? You just have to have a simple conversation with people, I generally don't talk to people because, like I said, most people are a lost cause. But sometimes, because of these circumstances, I am dragged into a conversation with older people. And it doesn't matter what subject it is. I tend to sneak in certain truths, right? Without any subtlety. And most people pretend as if they don't hear the truths that I say. I say the school system is a joke. Politicians aren't your friends. They are not working for you. Religions and priests, they are a scam. Banks. I mean, Jesus, right? I mean, I don't have to tell you, you know all of this, right? So I sneak these topics into these conversations to see if the sleeper might snap out of the trance. Absolutely not. 9 out of 10 cases, they pretend as if they haven't heard anything and move on as if nothing has happened. But on occasion, you might have a conversation with a sleeper like I had, and I told this woman, I told her, school is a waste of time. You are wasting your child's potential. You are wasting that kid's most important years in these fucking concentration camps. And she was like, yeah, of course, the school system is absolutely a failure. Having your kid in school in this day and age is absolutely a waste of time. But of course, she still sends her kid to school which is a contradiction, which is hypocrisy. So this is a sleeper. Some sleepers, they might have the capacity to sense and understand certain truths about this world, but they're so afraid. Either they are afraid or they are completely mindless, and they still engage in, these things, right? She knew that the school system is a waste of time and that it is an indoctrination camp. And she still sends her kid to school because she can't be bothered, to take the time to educate her kid herself, which is her responsibility as a parent. But whatever, right? So this is the mentality of most sleepers, normies, NPCs, right? They are asleep. They will remain asleep. Their minds are dead. Their hearts are numb. Okay, and they cannot be snapped out of their trance, out of their slumber. Okay? They go to picnics, they go to parties, they take selfies, they play video games, they react to fucking meme compilations, right? Halloween is coming up. They don't know anything about the origins of Halloween. They're gonna binge watch horror movies to get a scare because it's Halloween. This is the fucking trademark, hallmark archetype of a normie, of a sleeper. A sleeper just goes with the flow without questioning anything, The animal that is in a zoo will never question its situation, right? The animal in the zoo will never look at the bars and say, well, what's all this? Why am I here? You can use any type of analogy, example, whichever you want, right? The common average sleeper just lives his or her life without thinking, without questioning or suspecting anything. And if by some miracle they suspect something, well, you see, whatever. They just move on with indifference because life is too short. And they want to travel, they want to have fun in their vacations, right? They want to buy shit. They want to have a laugh. They want to watch anime or whatever the fuck, right? It's too much. It's too much for most people. And listen, most people, they do not have the capacity to think outside the box. They have blinders on, both literally and figuratively, and they live inside their own bubbles, right? And because most people think about themselves, most of all, and because they're so bogged in, even if something tremendous happens, they just accept what is presented to them without question, unconditionally. Right? They never ask themselves, why is this way? Why does this have to be this way? Why do we have to waste our potential, the prime of our youths, the prime of our lives in stupid jobs, right? Etc., etc. They never question anything because they live in a very temporary present, right? They don't care about the past. They don't care about history. They don't really care what's going to happen in the future. And they certainly don't care about what's going on right now. Evil is afoot. Evil has always been here, and evil has always strived to keep us enslaved as these mindless animals. And boy, oh boy, let me tell you, evil seems to be winning. Okay? Evil seems to be winning. People are getting dumber by the fucking second. And nobody seems to be bothered by this, right? So in conclusion, I have given up trying to snap people out of their trance. I have stopped trying to wake people up because it is a waste of time. Most people, they do not want to wake up. Most people refuse to wake up, and they, unfortunately, you might think that I am cruel, but I think most people deserve their fate. It is what it is, you know. The last time I tried to really wake somebody up, it was a couple of years ago. And I showed her, you know, a compilation that was a couple of hours of predictive programming, which showed, you know, the Twin Towers either being hit by planes or exploded in every kind of media. You know, movies, cartoons, comic books, commercials, music videos, you know, all sorts of covers. I mean, it was a couple hours long, and she was like, yeah, that's weird, that's strange. Oh boy, there's something to this. And then she moved on with her life as if nothing had happened. Most people are like this. And those who are truly brain dead will look at you and might think that you're a bit weird, maybe you're a bit strange, or maybe you're a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. So, okay, I've given up on people. Okay, I've given up on people. I don't care what their fate will be. If they want to be asleep, they will remain asleep. It is their choice. Okay, they're adults, they're grown up. And if they do not have, you know, the conscience, the consciousness, whatever, or if they're cowards, that's on them, okay? I refuse to bend over just to save, you know, just to protect people's feelings. I refuse to do that. I'm all about truth. I will not tolerate hypocrisy, right? And let's be honest. If you've had a dialogue with a person, you understand that most people, they don't have anything to say about anything. Okay? They don't know any kind of subject. They might show you a fucking meme video, whatever. People have nothing to talk about because their heads are empty and their hearts are hollow and they are firmly asleep, right? So in this day and age, right now, I do not argue with people anymore. I do not try to wake them up. I do not try to present them evidence that is irrefutable anymore. I do not try to wake people up, right? If they want to believe in a dream, then, you know, that's on them, right? And when somebody attacks me with, well, you see, this can be, you know, I agree with them. I tell them, this is what I tell them. I tell them, you're absolutely right. Go back to sleep, right? I don't argue with people, right? I don't have time for this. You see, time is of the essence now. Evil has shown its true face with this scamdemic, right? And most people, they still believe in this nonsense that's going around, getting all sorts of cocktails injected into them, whatever, right? Because they're asleep. They're asleep. And when you are asleep, you cannot judge accordingly. Okay, so that's about it. If you wanna support your boy, I got a few books on Amazon. The link will be down below. Thanks for watching. You know, thanks for watching. See ya.